Welcome back to Chasing Brighter. Today, we wanted to take a minute to reflect on Season 4 and share what's ahead for Season 5, because this podcast is evolving, and so are we. I think Season 4 felt grounding, reflective, and really growth-focused. I really felt like Season 4 mirrored what was happening in my own season of life with
Yeah.
parenting,
Mhm.
managing my business, healing, even reinvention. And I also felt like we really leaned into gratitude for our listeners, how our community has grown, our newsletter launched, and just in having our Thrive Guide continue to grow.
Yeah, Jess, I totally agree. For me, it felt like a season of like coming home to ourselves. There was a lot of, you know, intention that we had for season 4 to do just that, to sort of
Yeah.
bring back this like calm and grounding piece. We talked about boundaries, we talked about nervous system regulation, relationships, midlife transitions, and what it is like, and really trying to inspire ourselves and our listeners to live intentionally instead of
Mm-hmm.
chasing perfection. And
Yeah.
so, my favorite theme of season 4 was really the theme we had in October about confidence.
Yeah.
And a lot of our episodes, whether it was kind of like confidence in fashion, which I thought was a really fun episode to talk about, and all of those episodes that really sort of resonated with this idea of exuding confidence. Because I think sometimes, even though we are in different seasons of life, a lot of us, in terms of grown, mature women, tend to lose a little bit of that. And so it's like, how do
Mm-hmm.
we bring that back is, something I loved.
Absolutely. I totally loved that theme too, Kelly. And even today, I'm wearing a blazer with the graphic tee, it motivates me to create the reels of like a fit check because I don't know, I love playing around and like you're talking about, we're experiencing that in midlife, but like, there are points in our life where we lose who we are, like we lose connection to who we are. And so building back that confidence and tapping back into ourselves. I love you bringing that up because I really did love that theme.
Yeah. And, I think that like we kind of like tie our identities to a lot of different things that are really meant to be disposable in a lot of ways, right? We're not going to be, having toddlers forever, having high schoolers forever, or having the same job forever. And so, all these identities we tie ourselves to change, and it gets difficult to sort of process. And I think
Yeah,
what we wanted to focus on in season 4 was sort of like that regrounding of yourself and you as a person, and finding that self-compassion and confidence that we all have and deserve to have.
absolutely. I also loved, I don't remember if you said this, so it's okay. Even though I keep saying that my hormone patch helps my memory and brain fog. But I really think that you and I, with this confidence and tapping back into ourselves, our conversations continue to feel more honest and like less curated. I felt like when we started, I felt like a robot and silly to be making reels and doing this stuff. But now we've really warmed up to ourselves and we are noticing that our audience really gravitates to any content that we create that is authentic and honest.
Yeah, I think we're really trying to be real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be like comfortable in being real. We are authentic people. And so it's like, how do you find that voice? It sounds very weird to me to say it that way, but it is. It's like having that
Yeah,
voice that you can say things out loud to others in a way that you feel like you're living being your true self, right?
yeah, yeah. And I think again, what we've learned so much in season 4, it really kind of happened, I think, a shift for us when we went to Nashville to a mom's podcasting conference. That for us, midlife is incredibly powerful, but it's not an exclusive season of our life. It is not an exclusive season. For some people, this powerful, empowering moment can happen at any time in life. And so I know that's where we're seeing a shift, especially resonating with our audience, not just about midlife anymore, right? But just a guide for all walks of life.
Yeah, exactly. This is about finding joy and reconnecting with yourself. And, I think what's coming about is maybe traditionally, studies talked about that being more midlife, but realistically, that's maybe kind of like average, but it's not a one size fits all. And everyone
Yeah.
sort of goes through this kind of self reflection or this moment of kind of like identity reevaluation and sort of taking stock of their lives at different ages. And so, yeah, I think for us in our journey, we learned that it's not just about being, in your 40s or in your 50s. You can be in the 30s, you can be in your 60s. And we all sort of go through these big kind of transitions, if you will, at different stages.
Absolutely. And I also think I always joke, or even when I talk to my clients or younger friends, where it's like, you and I didn't learn these lessons till later, but it's like, oh my gosh, if we can help empower women to learn these lessons earlier, right? And build confidence earlier and feel empowered earlier. Um, and also not excluding women who are older, right? Who missed out on midlife being the best life. And so I love that for, we're hearing women of all ages DMing us, listening, sharing. And I think our themes are universal, right? Self-worth, connection, and joy are absolutely universal. And also a big takeaway for me from season 4 was that there's no right way to live this phase of life either.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, so many of our conversations that we're having right now apply to every season of life,
Yeah.
exactly like you're saying. And, the struggles that you and I may have now, other people are having at different phases and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. And so it's really
Yeah.
kind of, I think, opened our own eyes to being much more inclusive of how we share our journey and how that can apply and be kind of interpreted by others.
Yeah, because growth is lifelong.
Absolutely.
I
Exactly. And I mean, I think that's really what, to me, one of the cornerstones that we really have with our podcast is this insatiable curiosity to learn more and to think about ourselves as lifelong learners. Because the other thing that we both have a goal of is like living as long as possible, at least to get to 100, I'm thinking, Jess.
absolutely. No,
And so part
totally.
of that is having that lifelong learning to keep our brains active. And also, as we go through challenging times, sometimes learning something new keeps it exciting,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
keeps us wanting to kind of keep going forward, which sometimes it's hard to find things to be excited about.
And looking at what's ahead for season 5, like we're talking about leaning into that subtle shift from midlife only to all life, continuing to hear more diverse stories, experiences, and stages. And we still are grounded in our 4 pillars, really bringing to you those themes of lively living, self care, personal development, and connection, and really giving you permission to live authentically over perfection. This month, our download had been for our January free download. For those of you who subscribe to the newsletter, it was our permission slips for superwomen, really giving you permission
Yeah.
to live more authentically and letting go of perfection.
Yes. Ugh. I love it. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, Jess. But I think, following on season 5, uh, we're going to start really talking about, and our listeners will be hearing phrases around here that, we've been leaning into, which is real is the new perfect. And so this is a season about letting go of the pressure to have it all figured out and really start tackling that perfection fatigue, social media pressure, and really just living a life that's real and being authentic and not thinking about how these other forces come into play with that. So we want this podcast to really be a safe, honest space.
Yeah.
Jess and I, as sisters, I think that that's kind of what we started this podcast as, really, is try to be a safe space for each other and our friends and family. And now we have all of our listeners. And, this mantra is something that will grow into something bigger, I think, Jess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, I'm excited because with change, Kelly and I love change, looking at rebranding, changing colors, seeing what we're going to be coming out with. Our mother always told us that our grandmother moved her furniture around all the time. And I find like I do that too. I don't know how much you like change, Kelly, but I love changing throw pillows, moving furniture into different rooms and moving things around a lot. Do you like changing things up a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I get bored very easily
Yeah.
with things. And I think that even thinking about like lifelong learning, part of it is just change, right? Whether
Yeah.
you're changed by
Yeah.
your like learning something new or you're changing how my desk is moving my desk all the
Yeah.
time. But really this idea of kind of continuing to evolve to kind of stay exciting and fun for you and I too.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see I changed my hair. I don't know if you can see,
It's
but I went
super blurry.
darker.
When we record, I can't
That's
see
right.
you.
So we
Yeah.
use Riverside for recording, and what's so crazy with Riverside is the recording looks a little pixelated, but it uploads 4K. So it's interesting what the product will be. But I'll have to send you a selfie because I went about 2 shades darker, Kelly. But anyway, so
Ooh.
what can we expect? So you can expect conversations about growth, connection, and living brighter in whatever season you're in.
Yeah, we're going to still talk about wellness and relationships and purpose and parenting, career shifts, and really, most importantly, finding joy in that every day.
And we'll keep sharing real stories, real struggles, and real tools.
Mm-hmm. No perfection required.
We're excited to have guests. I know we're in the talks with our friend Deanna Mole, who we met at PodFest a few years ago, who is our organizational expert. And so we have some fun guests lined
Yeah,
up.
and Melissa Briskman, I think we'll have coming back too.
Yes, yes. And more lifestyle and identity content, and really sharing our messy but meaningful conversations.
Without further ado, we want to welcome you guys to season 5 of Chasing Brighter because real is the new perfect and it's just getting started.
Midlife was the beginning, but all life is the conversation. Season 5 starts now. If you want to check out our free downloads, learn more about us, look at our blog, you can check that out at chasingbrighter.com.
Yes. Also, our social media handles, which are also at Chasing Brighter.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So check it out.